Now, President Obama was recently at a Easter prayer breakfast, and he was talking about how some Christians have been making less than loving expressions that don't reflect the love of Jesus Christ. Okay, so look, a lot of us aren't going to take issue with that. They're right. It's not all Christians. It's some Christians. Most Christians are actually really good, loving people. But there's some Christians that aren't. For example, some of the people in Indiana, those anti-gay pizza shop, some of the anti-gay flower people. There's a lot of examples of where Christians aren't exactly following the love of Jesus. Now, Sandy Rios does not agree. Let's listen to what she had to say.
We know what he's talking about. He's talking about these religious freedom laws, among other things. He's talking about the gay community, which is his obsession, I must say. He says, isn't this how Jesus lived? Isn't that how he loved, embracing those that were different? And, of course, never mind. I'm not going to get off on that sidebar.
She's not going to get off on that sidebar because she'd be completely wrong if she did. Remember, Jesus was homeless, hung around with 12 homeless dudes, and a prostitute. I think Jesus, if he existed, was a pretty open guy to different lifestyles. Pretty accepting guy. In fact, he kind of built this whole thing on, I'm accepting and loving of everybody. That's why Sandy Rios doesn't want to actually go into that, because then she'd have to admit that she's a fucking hypocrite. And I love how she says, well, President Obama, he's so obsessed with the gays. My God, he's obsessed with the gays so much. No. Projection. Pure projection. Sandy Rios and a lot of these other right-wing bigots, they're obsessed with gays. You know what we're obsessed with as liberals and President Barack Obama? We're obsessed with giving people more rights. Civil rights. Civil rights that they deserve. We're all about giving people rights. They're all about taking those rights or preventing people from getting those civil rights. And they're obsessed about it. You want to talk about obsessed? The right wing has been blowing up about this whole flower shop thing. Or flower shop, pizza shop, gay marriage. There was other right-wing pundits that are like, I'd rather die as a martyr than let gay people get married and be happy. Seriously? If that is an obsession, I don't know what is. There's this right-wing obsession with denying gay people rights. There's also a right-wing obsession with anal sex. I don't know what it is. I'm not interested in it. I don't care if you do it. I don't care if anybody does it. I'm not interested in it, and I'm certainly not thinking about it all the time. I don't think about it as much as people like Rush Limbaugh or some of these other right-wing people. Brian Fisher. It seems it's almost, that's the only thing that they think about. Oh, that dirty, dirty sex. That dirty gay sex. Okay, man. If you want to focus on that, I don't know why you'd want to, but okay. That's your thing. Look, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. They obsess a lot on that. And they obsess a lot on the gay issue. The only thing that we're doing is that we're fighting back and saying, hey, these people deserve rights. If you gave them civil rights, then we wouldn't have to talk about it anymore. That would be a done issue. But it comes down to God's guns and gays. Now, Sandy Rios isn't quite done. We have more.
Serving the marginalized, humbling himself to the last. Serving the marginalized. In other words, like cakes, flowers. We know what he's talking about. This is the example we are called to follow, to love him with all our hearts, mind, and soul, and love our neighbors, all our neighbors, as ourselves. It's a perversion of Jesus' teaching to think that we ignore God's law to do what we know in good conscience we can't do, and that we should be forced to do that in the name of God's love and in what Jesus said. It's just really a perversion. It's very evil, and it's evil to do it at an Easter prayer breakfast.
It is so evil to love people, just like Jesus did. No, it's a perversion of Jesus. No, it's a perversion. Given the fact that Jesus said, what about homosexuality? What did Jesus say about it? I don't think he said anything about homosexuality. Not a one thing. There's 2 passages in the Bible, at most, about homosexuality. I'm thinking those were pretty much in the Old Testament. Now, I thought the New Covenant where Jesus kind of broke all those old rules, and that the only things that you have to follow are the 10 Commandments. Look, it's sort of confusing. And that's why a lot of people are like, this Bible's, I don't get it. It's filled with contradictions and shit. I'm not going to believe this. It is contradicting. It is confusing. And that's what people like Sandy Rios can seize upon to say, look, my Bible justifies hatred. Look at Jesus. He hated the gays. Jesus didn't hate the gays. If Jesus even existed, which he certainly doesn't in the Christian form, especially in the form of what Sandy Rios believes Christ existed as, yeah, he wouldn't hate the gays. But I also love how she goes back to the cakes. Oh, it's all about the cakes. It's all about the flowers. It's always been about cake. No, it's always been about civil rights. It's all about being treated equally as an equal person and having the same rights as everyone else. And I love how it just goes back to all they want is their cakes and their flowers. Well, if it's only about cakes and flowers, then why don't you just give them the cakes and flowers? It's that simple. They want a fucking cake, then bake them a fucking cake. It's amazing to me. But they're using that as a cover. They're using it as a cover so that they can hate on these people. It's not about cakes. They're conflating the issue. And that's all they do. And they conflate what Jesus was all about and what the Bible's all about. It's all about using religion as a way to marginalize people. And ironically, Jesus liked marginalized people, hung around with marginalized people, and stood up for marginalized people. Isn't that kind of ironic?